right, good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. We'll get started in a few minutes. Good morning, guys. Again, we'll just wait for a few more minutes. All right, I think we need to get started. So, let me see chat, Star Mickey. Okay, how are you guys doing? Okay, very good. Lily Welch. Very good. All right, good. Hopefully a couple more people will join us. Just waiting for them. So, okay, good. Now, how is your Zoom link working out for you? Yeah, working fine. Okay, who did I admit first? Henry. Okay, good. Seems like the district is still dealing with some problems with the technical issues. Um, I know it's just a bunch of excuse from the district or school side, but it is really the new way of teaching and trying to reach to the students in a way that has never been done in this scale. And so this kind of a technical, some problems and issues is expected, and we are trying our best to make this teaching a little more seamless and easier for you guys. But you guys have been the good sport, and I really appreciate you guys being patient and being coming to the class on time. So we appreciate that. Okay. And also, so far, at least I have not seen anything inappropriate in the chat or things that you've done online community. So I really appreciate that as well. I hate so. Thanks for being considerate and making my job a little bit easier. So, okay. Now, let me give you a little bit of an update in terms of Edgenuity. I know I've been saying Edgenuity without you seeing that program at all. And you don't even know what it looks like. And so it's not really fair for me to just keep talking about it, but it is not still open to students. And so we will just keep going without Edgenuity. But I do know the topic that we are going to cover on the first unit. So I think I will start preparing some lessons, maybe from later this week, maybe Thursday, Friday, to get going. Then once you have the access to Edgenuity, then you can just jump right in. So that's my plan. As far as I hear from, well, I am going to have a little training this afternoon about Edgenuity. So I am hoping that I can hear more about it, more specifically when we will be able to start using it. So just please wait for that. But meantime, my main goal is to be able to connect to you guys. And I think I was able to do that for most of you, that you guys were able to log in successfully. I know some of you had some problems, but I only have few students who have never showed up. So I'm really concerned about those students, but most of you have been here and attending the classes consistently. So I appreciate that. I guess I need to contact some of those students that I have not seen yet. So a little bit worried about that, but for the most of the part, you guys are here. You guys have managed to figure out to get in and be online. And so hopefully we can keep going in this way. Okay. So let's see. How has this online learning been for you? Is this what you expected? Is it a disappointment? Do you like it? What do you guys think so far? I know I haven't been teaching you much about, you know, geometry so far. Yeah, more work than that. Yeah. Okay, maybe some of you feel a little more productive because you're kind of focused on it. Yeah. Um, okay, you know what? I just need to help one student. So let me get the link and then give it that to her. So hang on just a second, guys. Alexander Fergus. Okay, somebody's trying to log in that I don't recognize. Geometry? Hang on a second, guys. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I will talk to that person later. All right. Let's work. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So one thing, the most one thing that I really miss is that I really don't see. Ella was mentioning that I'm not able to see your faces, your facial expressions. Are you happy? Are you, you know, sad? You know, all of those number verbal, you know, cues and all the interactions I used to have with the students. But once you know, once Edgenuity gets going, we will. My plan is that I meet with you personally during class time on a personal basis to just to be connected with you and talk to you. Hopefully, you'll be willing to, you know, show your face and talk to you one on one, or maybe in a group, maybe if that feels, if you feel a little more comfortable with that. But anyway, I want to get to know you guys and just also make sure, most importantly, how you're doing on Edgenuity. Are you getting behind or are you on time, on schedule? You know, that kind of stuff. Okay. So I will try to connect with you guys a little bit more. So I look forward to that and to talking to you guys. Okay. Again, once Edge gets going. Once Edgenuity gets going, then you will have a little more work to do. Okay. You will have some assignments, but so far we haven't, you know, had any substantial of anything. But we will we will be picking up a little bit more as time progresses. Okay. But today, again, I'm not going to do anything heavy, but I've prepared 3 geometry problems. Okay. Now, hey, we just started taking the geometry class, right? So, but I think you will be able to solve it by everything that you've learned before. And if not, we will go over some geometry rules and principles. Okay. So with that, let me share the screen, and I would like you to take out your notes right now. And let me share those problems. Okay. I'm going to open up the chat. If you want to talk to me in that way. Okay. All right. So I've got 3 problems today. I don't think we will take the whole class time. Okay. I'm okay with that, but our goal, okay, right now is to solve for x right here, that angle measurement. Okay. With everything that we know, the 3 measurements, we will be able to figure out what x is going to be. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to let you guys just think about it. Now, one thing that I'm going to tell you is that we will not be able to tell x right away, right? But we have to figure out something else. So I want you guys to just think about this, and just can we copy this down in your notes? And then let's just think about what we can figure out, okay? All right, that's okay, Zaira. I'm sorry. I'm glad you were able to get back in. So we are working on this problem. Zaira, I would like you to just copy this down and just think about how we can solve for x. Okay. So write it big. Don't write it too tiny because we need to figure out a lot of other things before we get to x. All right, let me ask you guys, is there anything that we can find out? Any angle measurement? Let me be, I guess I need to be a little more specific. Is there any angle measurement that we can figure out? All right. Yeah. Now, how about, let me show you, okay, let me give you a hint, okay? Now, I know it's an obvious thing, but if you have a straight line, What's the angle measurement of the straight line? Can you type that in chat? What's the angle measurement of the straight line? Yeah, it is from like a here to here. That's 180 degrees. Okay? It's a half of a circle. That's a 180 degree. You guys get that? And then you've got another 180 on the other side. So the whole circle, the whole thing is 360. Okay, now why did I tell you that? Boom, let's say if I have this is 30 degrees.
Question.
Can you figure out the rest of the angle?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it also supposed to add up to 360?
Yeah, 360 as in like the whole circle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was talking about only this part right here. So that's 180. Yeah, would you agree with that? And then the other half is 180, right? So the whole thing is 360. That's right. Okay. So what I am alluding you to think about is this. How about this one? If this is 30 degrees, can you figure out the rest of this? What is x on right here? It's 150. Does everybody get that? So here's just one simple geometry principle, okay? If you have a straight line, I know my drawing is not very good. If you have a straight line, let's say, if this is, let's say 30 degrees, that means that you can figure out the rest, which has to be 150 because the whole thing is 180. Now, why did I tell you guys that? Can you use this principle that I just taught you in any part of this problem? How about right here? Can you figure this angle? Because think about this. This is a straight line, right? Straight line. And then you've got 135 degree. Can you figure out the rest? Isn't that what this is? So right here, right here. So what's the rest? So how do you do that? It's 180 minus 135, isn't it? So take out your calculator. So 180, we don't need calculator. What do you get? It's 45, yeah? So you just figure out that we didn't know before. This angle has to be 45, okay? Now what else can you figure out? So by the way, can you guys write this? This is called supplementary angles. I mean, you don't need to memorize it, but it will come up sometimes in this course, okay? It's called supplementary angle. If you have a straight line, the angles are supplementary angles because it adds up to 180, okay? Now, what else can we figure out? Okay, let me give you let's give a focus. Can we figure out this? What do you think that angle is? You don't need to do anything. The answer is already there. What do you think that question mark is? And what does your gut feeling tell you? Yeah, 45? It is correct. Now, if you have a straight line crossing like that, always the opposite angles are always going to be the same. In other words, this angle and this angle are going to be the same. Also, you can say that this big angle and this angle are going to be the same. Or in geometry, they will use the word congruent. Okay, congruent means the same. Okay? It's just a fancy way of saying it. That means this question mark is 45. All right, so we're discovering a little bit more, right? By the way, this two lines crossing, those are called vertical angles. Okay, again, you don't need to memorize that, worry about that. But okay, what else can we figure out? Can we figure out this question mark? Now, I think you have learned this before, maybe even like in elementary school a long time ago, middle school at least. What do you guys remember about triangle? Now, if you draw any triangle, you've got three angles, right? Angle A, angle B, and angle C. What do you guys know about A, B, and C? Very good. You guys are already, some of you are realizing that. Do you guys remember that A plus B plus C, do you know what's going to happen? A plus B plus C is they all add up to, thank you, Calvin, is going to be 180. Okay. No matter what triangle it is, if you have a really skinny one, or if you have about equal size, if you add A, B, and C, it's always going to be 180. It's going to be always 180. Okay, that's yeah. Yeah, it's not about some, maybe some of you are thinking about the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but it's not about Pythagorean theorem. It's just the principle of, it's called inscribed angles in a triangle. And if you add them together, it's always going to be 180. Now, do you guys see this triangle right here? We know it's 45. We know this one is 22. Do you think we can figure out that question mark now? So that means we just need to figure out, to figure this one out, how do we do that? We need to add 45 plus 22, which is 67. But we need to figure out the rest, right? So those two are 67. So we just need to subtract 67 from 180. And you are going to get, what is it, 113. Okay. Now this question mark is 113. You guys all see that? Jessica Hernandez. Very good. All right, so now we've got a lot more than before. Now, what else can we figure out? Now, how about right here? Can we figure that out? What is the question mark next? Again, it's the supplementary angle principle. If you have a straight line, if this is 113, what's the rest, isn't it? So take out your calculator. Let's do 180 minus 113. And what's the rest? It's a 67. Okay, so we're getting closer, right? Okay, very good. So we can also figure this one out. Again, this is a triangle, right? So 42 plus 45 plus this question mark, it has to be 180. So what is that question mark next? So that's 93. And if this is a 93, can you figure out this angle right here? So again, the whole thing is 180. So 180 minus 93. You get that? It's 87. So now we've got only one angle to figure out, all right? Now there is one thing that I need you to remember. No. Now I just told you that if you have a triangle, A plus B plus C equals 180, right? We just talked about that, right? Does anybody know if you have any quadrilateral, meaning four-sided shape? What does anybody know if you add all four angles, what will that be? Is it always going to be one single number? And the answer is yes. It is going to be always a single number. And I see 360 because quadrilateral is actually made up of two triangles. Do you see that? And you know that this angle plus this A plus B plus C is 180. And then this A plus B plus C, that's also 180. That means if you add all those four angles, it is always going to be 360. You get that? So now we've got this quadrilateral, and this angle plus this angle plus this angle plus this angle is going to be 360. So let's add them up. So the final step, let's do 87 plus 135 plus 67. What is that? 87, 135. It's 289. But you have to subtract that from 360. So 360 minus 289. And that's going to be the answer. 71. Yeah. So X is going to be actually 71. Well, this is a loaded question, but it's not really that impossible. Now that you know what, we went over on about 3 different geometry principles. One is about this supplementary angles. We also talked about that the triangle is always 180. Okay. And that led you that if you have a quadrilateral, like a 4-sided shape, the angles will always add up to be 360. Okay. And so and then we also talked about vertical angle. If the lines are crossing like this, opposite angles are always equal to each other. Yeah. So those are some of the geometry principle. Let's see, where are we? Okay, I'm just reading the. If you didn't know anything about what we just talked about, don't even worry about it. Okay, I'm just kind of giving you some, what geometry is. I mean, this is not everything, but we are going to learn something like this as we move on. Okay. Let's see, geometry is until 30, right? Okay, so we still have time. Can we do one more time? Yeah, okay. So how about this one? It's pretty much identical question, except that now I'm giving you different numbers. Can you try to solve for X? So let's have you work on that by yourself. I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back as a class and discuss the solution for X. Do you guys remember what we did first on the last problem? If you have forgotten, just start from here. Can you figure out the question mark? That's gotta be the first question. P or G? I don't know this. What's POG? Pog. I don't know that word. Okay. All right, some of you are already figuring out. Very good. Anybody else? So let's kind of get started. If you're stuck, don't worry about it. Just go along with me though, okay? Don't just give up, okay? So the question mark. Again, remember the straight line is, the whole thing is 180, right? It's 180. So the question mark, you know that this part is 110. That means, can you figure out the rest? Because the whole thing is 180. The whole thing is 180. And if we know this much is 110, what's the rest? Yeah? And that's 70. Yeah? Did you get that? So the question mark, it's gotta be 70. And last time we learned that if you have two lines crossing like this, okay, if this is a 70, what do you know about the opposite side? It's gotta be the same too, okay? So if this is a 70, this has to be 70. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay, now also, let's figure out this one right here. And okay, too many notification here, it's kind of annoying. Now, if you add all three angles, it's always 180, okay? Now this one, we've got 70 and we've got 30. So can we figure out the rest? Well, 70 plus 30 is 100. That means this one has to be 80 degrees, yeah? And that means that the other side, or again, if this is a straight line, if this is 80, what's the rest right here? It has to be 100 because straight line is 180, okay? Now what else can we figure out? Can we figure this one out? This one will be 70 plus 25 is 95. And then this is the third angle, so 180 minus 95. And that will be what? 85? 85. That means, what's the rest right here? Again, the straight line. Straight line is 180. And what's the rest? That's 95 as well. Now we can get to this. What's the last step? So let's, if you have any four-sided shape, if you add all four angles, it's called inscribed. If you add A, B, C, D inscribed angles, it's always going to be 360. Okay. Triangle is always 180. Quadrilateral is always going to be 360. So let's add 95, 110, and 100. What is that? 305? Okay. So 95 plus 110 plus 100 is going to be 305. That means that missing piece X is going to be 360 minus 305, which is going to be, what is it, 55. I think I saw 55, right? Very good, guys. So X equals 55. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. So just for this one problem, we have to know about 4, maybe 5 geometry principles. Okay. And again, yes, it was not fair for me to just ask you and figure out because you haven't learned that. Right? Maybe you might have learned some of them, but not all of them, right? And so we are going to go over on that throughout this semester, talk about geometry principles, rules, so that you can figure out certain unknown, okay? And so just wanted to, I was trying to plan for this class yesterday because we don't have the curriculum yet. It's really hard for me to come up with something that might be interesting to you. I don't know if this is interesting to you or maybe boring, but I came across with this problem, and so I thought, hey, maybe you guys can do this. You can figure this one out. And so, all right, you know what? Thanks for your participation. What time is it? 10:50. I have another problem, but I'm gonna just save this for another day. Okay. So I know we still have some time left, but this is all I have for today. If you don't mind, I'm gonna dismiss you guys today, but I will just keep that in your notes, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Again, I will be having a meeting about Edgenuity. I'm hoping that I can learn more about it and give you guys a good news, okay, tomorrow. But with that, I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. If you want to hang around and ask me questions or anything, any concerns that you may have, Zoom, connecting issues, please hang around and you can just talk to me about it, okay? Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, guys. All right. Thanks, guys. Yeah, have a great day. Jaden, are you still there? All right, I'm gonna close the class, okay? I'll see you tomorrow.